Hi everyone. Okay. Hi everyone. Welcome back to the Sports Breakdown once again. So today we are going to do the Gujarat Titans squad analysis. So this is the first team that we are doing out of the 10 teams we're planning to do for all 10 IPL teams before the IPL starts on the March 31st. So we are planning to cover all the 10 teams and bring in all the 10 loyal fans of each franchise. So we're planning to do that. So today we wanted to start on Gujarat Titans. Obviously, they were the champions of IPL 2022. Unexpectedly, we didn't expect Gujarat Titans to win, but they somehow managed to win. So we brought alongside Deep, who's a passionate Gujarat Titans fan and who's been following the franchise for the past year. So welcome Deep, and thank you so much for actually accepting the invite because it's not easy getting fans in. So Deep, coming to you first of all, how did you become a Gujarat Titans fan? Because we know that Gujarat Titans was only introduced last year along with the Lucknow Super Giants. And which team perhaps you were supporting before Gujarat Titans, and the reasons why you were going to support Gujarat Titans? Any particular reasons why you went to the franchise? Was there a particular player or the squad itself? So how did you start getting into Gujarat Titans? Because it's a new team, new franchise. Unexpected things could happen, but you took a risk and obviously went and supported Gujarat Titans.
Yeah. So first of all, thanks for inviting me. I think it's a great privilege to talk to all the passionate fans who are like-minded. So to answer your question, initially when IPL started, I used to follow Rajasthan Royals. Then a time came where Shane Watson left Rajasthan Royals, and during that time, I kind of like parted my ways from Rajasthan Royals, and then I was kind of supporting a Sunrisers Hyderabad because of my cultural connection with them. But then, because now I stay in Ahmedabad, and last 5 years I have been staying in Ahmedabad, so I think like when a team from that represents Gujarat, so it automatically I connected with the franchise, and I thought, okay, let's support Gujarat Titans this season. And then another reason was the captain Hardik Pandya, because like as a player we have seen him in Mumbai Indians, like he used to contribute that much, but again in Mumbai Indians he used to play under Rohit Sharma and along with other legends of the game like Karen Pollard. So I was very intrigued how a team that is led by Hardik Pandya will perform, and that too under the coaching setup of Ashish Nehra. It's like two very drastic personalities, so I was very intrigued, and then the kind of squad that they built up, so it actually intrigued me very much, and I'm glad that we won the last season.
Yeah, very polar opposite, as you say, Hardik Pandya and Ashish Nehra. I think Ashish Nehra was sort of criticized with the way that he coached RCB. No one expected Ashish Nehra to actually coach this Gujarat Titans into champions team. When we first saw this Gujarat Titans team, we all thought that they will actually not qualify for the playoffs, but unsurprised. I mean, they surprised all of us last season. But as you spoke about Hardik Pandya, Deep, your insights about Hardik Pandya's captaincy last season, because it was really impressive, especially after coming from an injury that I think he was sidelined for maybe 2 or 3 years. It was not easy for Hardik Pandya to straight away come into IPL and actually end up in the Indian national team after that because of his performances in the IPL. So, your thoughts of Hardik Pandya actually taking a risk? I mean, being all rounder, playing at number three, is not used to play batting at number three, but we saw him batting at number three or number four, adjusted to the situations, played a very crucial knock, scored about 400 runs, and picked up wickets. So, as we know in the finals of the IPL, also he picked up 3 wickets. So, your thoughts and analysis of Hardik Pandya's captaincy, because it was really impressive.
Yeah, I think you mentioned a lot of points about Hardik Pandya's captaincy while asking the question. But for me, there were two things that stood out. First is Hardik Pandya as a player while captaining the team, and then Hardik Pandya as a captain, how he led the team. So I'll talk about the first aspect first.
Yeah.
So, how Hardik Pandya as a player emerged out of this IPL 2022? So, while playing for Mumbai Indians, we have seen that he was given a finisher kind of a role, and now he was coming from an injury. So, he needed a kind of role where, like, he needed that fight and balls cushion before he starts getting going, right? So instead of having that number 6 and 7 kind of role, they had Miller and Tevatia for that kind of role. They so initially, if you see, when we started the season, we started Vijay Shankar at number three, but then he didn't click. So then Hardik Pandya promoted himself, and then we had that powerful lineup. So as a player, when the captain performs for the team, leads from the front, that kind of boosts the morale of the team. So that actually was the peak of Hardik Pandya that we saw. Hardik Pandya, the player. And another thing is he had to make sure that he rotates the bowlers in such a way that he is a bowling all-rounder, right? So he has to think about his overs also, and he's coming from injury, so he can't give 4 overs in every game. So the way they managed the bowlers, so they didn't play Shami all the games, they didn't play Yash Dayal all the games, they didn't play Lockie Ferguson all the games. So they managed the workload of all the pacers, and that was the beauty of Hardik Pandya's captaincy. And I think that's what we will see in this season also.
Yeah, very true on those points. So we'll talk about the Gujarat Titans squad. So here is popping up. We have Hardik Pandya as captain, Shubman Gill, David Miller, Sai Sudarshan, Vidaman Saha, Matthew Wade, Rashid Khan, Rahul Tewatia, Shami, Joseph Dayal, Sangwan, Nalkande, Jayant Yadav, Kane Williamson, the new additions. Yeah, and then Sai Kishnor, Vijay Shankar, Case Bharat, Mohit Sharma, Odion Smith, Yudvil Patel, Joshua Little, and Shivam Mavi. Deep, coming to you back again. Your thoughts about the additions this time for Gujarat Titans, especially Kane Williamson, Shiva Mavi, Odion Smith, all the newcomers of Gujarat, and even KS Bharat. Your thoughts of Gujarat Titans this time in the auctions this time, how they played out? Obviously, I think they only could have bought two overseas players and then seven players overall. So, how do you think the auctions went for Gujarat this time around?
I think if you look at the XI that played in the 2022 final, the only guy who is not right now in the squad is Loki Ferguson, because they released him, and instead of Loki Ferguson, we got Joshua Little, right? Because most of the time we were playing Alzari Joseph ahead of Loki Ferguson. So we got that budget, and with that budget, we got a very good Indian pacer in Shivam Mavi. So if you ask me, like in the auction list, he was probably the best Indian pacer who was available. So we got the best Indian pacer available, and given the impact factor rule, I guess Shivam Mavi will play a huge role. And then there is another tactical thinking that I see, that we got Kane Williamson at base price and Odion Smith almost at base price. So now, if we see that given the situation, if we want someone to anchor the innings, then we can probably have a Kane Williamson kind of a player. Whereas if we need a firepower at the end, or someone who can chip in with a couple of overs instead of Hardik Pandya bowling all 4 overs, we can have Odion Smith. So we have that kind of luxury in our squad. But then there is one surprise pick here, and this guy Urvil Patel, and we got Urvil Patel and KS Bharat, both the wicketkeeper batters. So we
Yeah.
already have Saha, an Indian wicketkeeper. Then we have Matthew Wade, an overseas wicketkeeper, and now we got two backups in KS Bharat and Urvil Patel. So in
Mm.
case we need someone, so that number three slot is still open in the Gujarat Titans playing 11. So if you
Yeah.
need someone to anchor, then we can have a KS Bharat kind of a player. Whereas if you need an attacking opener and Saha is not performing, and we can have a like-to-like replacement, then we can have Urvil Patel kind of a player. So I guess we have covered all the bases, and it's like I'll give 9 out of 10 for the auction that we had.
Very true. Hari here will go to the comment section. He says, Wade is a must in the playing 11. Do you agree? Especially, I mean, after, I mean, the balance, especially, I'm not sure. Ashish Nair has said clearly that Kane Williamson might be in the playing 11 this time. He will bat at number three, and that maybe puts Matthew Wade in outside of the playing 11. But do you see Matthew Wade having a chance in the playing 11 for Gujarat this time?
I think it's like because we are back to home versus away format. So in all the home games, Kane Williamson will play. In Chennai, Kane Williamson will play. So, but when we'll play in Wankhede or Eden Gardens or SMS, then I see Matthew Wade replacing Kane Williamson. But in most of the games, we'll see Kane Williamson playing.
Yeah, very true. And as you spoke about Josh Little, I think Josh Little is out of the IPL 2023. As we know right now, I think there was confirmation that Josh Little is out, so perhaps they'll need a replacement for Josh Little. So in that case, Deep, who do you think will be the best option for Gujarat? Do you think, and the reason why, especially because losing Lockie Ferguson is a huge blow, I would say, to KKR. Obviously, they released him, but that can't be helped. But still, who do you think will be that replacement? Because Josh Little, as we know, he did really well in domestic franchise leagues. All around did perform very well, and I think he's ruled out already for IPL 2023. So in that case, who do you think would be that addition?
I think in the comment section, I see Dushmanta Chamira's name being suggested here. So I won't mind if we get Dushmanta Chamira here at this point.
Hmm. Very true over there. Yes, I think that was a good one. Yes, Harry says Wade is a great finisher. Your thoughts, especially on Odeon Smith, because I know he's been bought for base price, but a lot of people were, I mean, not like sort of happy with because of how he performed with PBKs. Also, I know he was bought at a higher price, but he didn't perform up to his justice. But what do you see the role that Odeon Smith can play? Because I know in the bowling aspect, he's not that great. But when it comes to bat top, I think he can play as a finisher role, perhaps in number seven. We've seen some glimpses in the PSL also. So your thoughts about Odeon Smith?
So this time, like it's not that we have to look at the playing 11s. Like this time, we have to decide how the teams will out their impact sub rule. So what I
Yeah.
see with the Gujarat Titans setup is that they will play with 8 Indian players and 3 overseas players, and they'll keep that fourth overseas spot open with the options of, given the match situation, whether they should sub Matthew Wade or whether they should sub Odion Smith or whether they should sub Kane Williamson. So depending on whether they need an anchor, they can bring in Kane Williamson. If they need a firepower, they can bring in Matthew Wade. They need someone who can bowl as well as hit 20 in last 2 overs, then they can bring in Odion Smith. So I think that's the flexibility that they'll have. They'll go with 3 overseas players: David Miller, Rashid Khan, and Alzari Joseph, and they'll keep that fourth overseas spot open depending on the match situation.
Yeah, very true. I also was going to come with Hari's comment over there about the case Bharat and Gill thing. What do you think? Whether do you think Saha will continue playing for Gujarat? I mean, as opening, do you see the pair of Gill and Saha opening for Gujarat Titans this season too, or do you see case Bharat popping up maybe opening this time? We saw for Delhi he wasn't that great when he was given the opportunity as an opener, but do you see case Bharat playing any role in this playing 11 for Gujarat? It will depend obviously on conditions and all, but do you see him getting a chance?
Like there will be some match situations in which we'll see top three of Ridhman Saha, Shuman Gill, and KS Bharat. But there will be some match situations where we will see either Williamson or Wade in the top three when we'll play outside of Ahmedabad games. So it's something which is conditional, that whom we are playing, where we are playing. But like it's not either Saha or KS Bharat. So both can also feature in the same XI, because we have that 1 to 3 kind of open, and we are flexible because of this impact sub rule.
Yes, very true on that. Yeah. So coming in, so yes, so we discuss about the squad analysis right now. So we'll go to the schedule obviously. So we know Gujarat Titans gonna face against CSK at Ahmedabad, and then I think they do have some good matches to see this time around. I think the first match against Chennai Super Kings at Ahmedabad. How do you see that going, Deep? Especially CSK, obviously the Dhoni's last season, perhaps I think, and it's the opening match of IPL. So I think Gujarat Titans would want to make a statement. Obviously, them being the champions as well. So how do you think, especially being given the first match since they were champions last season?
Like, what's the latest news about David Miller's availability in the first game? Like, do you have any confirmed news on that?
I think the South African team. I think
Yeah,
they are not going to play. I think Miller won't play the first match because
yeah,
South African players come on April 4th. So I think Miller will miss the first match or the second match also, and then join in the team.
yeah. I think, yeah. So similarly in CSK also, the Tikshana won't be available for the first game.
Yeah.
So I think, like, both of them kind of miss their main players. I would rate Tikshana in Ahmedabad like kind of high as compared to Miller missing out this game. But still, I think given the kind of squad that we have and the kind of spin options that we have, I think if you play in Ahmedabad most of our games, then the combination would be we can have Tewatia, Rashid Khan, Sai Kishore, and we can probably chip in another guy like Jayant Yadav. Like because in CSK you have so many left-handers, so I think like if I have to see it tactically, then I would rate Gujarat Titans a notch higher than Chennai Super Kings. But if you ask me as an emotional fan, looking at Dhoni's last season, I would want CSK to win and Dhoni to finish the game. So
Yeah, very true on that. Yes. And coming to the pitch conditions in Ahmedabad, we saw in the recent test also between India versus Australia, it was very flat, and I mean there was no much contribution for the bowlers. Do you see the Ahmedabad track being flat pitch, especially 200 plus? Maybe the batters getting more favorable, obviously from this pitch. So do you see it changing over time, especially as the pitch deteriorates? We know the bowlers come into play, and especially maybe night matches, the Duke would come along in the spinners. I think Rashid Khan, especially because they have a very deadly spin duo of Rashid Khan and Sai Kishnor, especially they could make the pitch favorable for the spin as well. So, how do you see the pitch conditions in Ahmedabad going in favor for Gujarat Titans this time?
like I don't think like initially we will see those 140, 150 kind of games. Initially it will be like 180, 190 kind of games, but when we go towards the back end of the tournament or like last 25% to 30% of the games, then I'll see probably spinners coming into the game more. And then if you see the kind of squad that we have built, there is a reason why they wanted to go for Kane Williamson, KS Bharat, all these kind of guys who play spin very well. And these are like technically very strong players. And again, we have a very good spin bowling attack in Tewatia, Rashid Khan, Sai Kishore, Jayant Yadav. We have all kind of options available. And then given the impact sub rule, we also have a trump card in Noor Ahmed. So what we can do is we can like use Alzari Joseph to bowl 3 overs up front, and then we can have Noor Ahmed back. So Noor Ahmed and Rashid Khan can bowl in tandem. So all those kind of possibilities we can explore. So I see that towards the end, the game's going towards 140, 150 ish. Even in the last year's final, we saw the same thing happening. It was a low scoring one. So
Yeah, very true on that as well. And coming back, I mean, Rahul Tewatia, we didn't see much of his bowling last season. It was mainly his batting as a finisher, obviously played as a finisher role at number six. How do you see? Because I mean, Rahul Tewatia, we know he's good with his bowling. We saw in Rajasthan Royals also how good he was as a bowling. Do you expect this season Rahul Tewatia to obviously continue being that batter that we saw last season, or do you think he will contribute more with the ball, especially if Shai Kishnor has a bad day, or even Rashid perhaps could not pick up wickets? Do you see Rahul Tewatia contributing a bit with the ball this season at least? Because I mean, last season, yeah, he contributed the bat, but maybe I think this time he could help with the bowling as well.
yeah, because we will be playing most of our home games, and then we'll be playing in Chennai also. Then we will be playing in Delhi also. So I think in those games, we can have 1 or 2 overs from Rahul Tewatia instead of going from more overs from Pacers. But I think when we travel to Eden Gardens or SMS, or those where we have like batting friendly pitches or there is dew that will come into play, then I don't think Hardik Pandya will go towards Rahul Tewatia. So in some on some pitches he'll give 1 or 2 overs, but like given the kind of bowling options or bowling quality that we have, I don't think we will need Rahul Tewatia to bowl more overs. We need his batting abilities more.
Hmm, very true. Yeah. So talking about let's go to the SWOT analysis, and obviously the strengths and weaknesses of Gujarat. How, first of all, let's talk about the strengths, because I think as a GT fan you must be knowing the strengths and the weaknesses of GT, how they can improve. Obviously they're champion team, but they could have certain weaknesses as well that could prevail this season. But first of all, let's talk about the strengths of Gujarat Titans. Deep, first of all.
Yeah, the strength is it's very settled squad. So we have seen it. the kind of way they gelled in the last season and they performed as a team. So it's not dependent on individual brilliance. So it's a collective team effort that we saw in the last season. And like among the top seven, batters that we had like four of them from GT. So it is kind of it was a collective team effort, and we probably have a very settled or very mixed bowling attack. We have left arm pacer, we have a guy who can swing, we have someone who can bowl at the death, and we have a googly bowler, we have orthodox bowler. So it's kind of very mixed bowling attack. So that kind of variety that's there and the kind of skill set each guy brings. So it's not that one guy will like win you the tournament here. So we need all of them to click together. So that's our strength and that's our weakness, right? If
Mm,
so, we need everyone to perform according to their role and expectations. Like if Shubman Gill doesn't click, then I don't see GT qualifying for the playoff. If Hardik
mm,
doesn't click, I don't see them qualifying for playoff. Similarly, if Rashid doesn't click or Miller doesn't click, I don't see them. So all of them have to click together. So that's their strength and that's their weakness.
very true. Hari here says strength, quality core, and selection of Williamson and Bharat. Yeah, I agree with that. Noor Ahmad, yes, he did well for in the LPL as well. Deadly spinner, played well for Gaur, Quetta, and Dambulla Giants. Yeah, so let's see how Gujarat do this time around. Talk about the opportunities. This time, do you see Gujarat having any chances of playoffs? I mean, especially I know this is a team that hasn't changed, but a lot of people were saying also on social media last time that GT were lucky. I do not really get into those, but still I'm just going on with the media that they said that GT was lucky in certain matches, especially in scenarios against PBKs. I think that match, the middle order somehow stood up, and I think in several matches the middle order had to step up, especially in the top order failed. Do you see this time that the same thing will happen to GT? Perhaps there are scenarios where they are lucky and they win matches, because usually the luck doesn't ride into teams all the time. There will be scenarios, seasons where teams could struggle. So your thoughts towards the opportunities for GT this time?
Uh, I think it's the bowlers who win you tournament and who kind of decide whether your team will go to the playoffs or not. Otherwise, we would have seen RCB qualifying for 15 seasons continuously for the playoffs. They had the best batting every season, but they didn't have bowlers to support. So if you see Gujarat Titans bowling, I would still rate them as like one of the top three bowling units in this tournament. And with the addition of Shivam Mavi and the kind of options that we have, I think the playoff chances are definitely there. But will we be able to defend our title? Like that's kind of 50-50 thing. But I definitely see them going to the playoffs.
I think especially Shami has been doing well recently. I think in the last 10, especially him bowling the power play also, especially with the outswingers and all. I think he's been really, really good with the conventional swings. So I think Shami is going to be key. And Shivam Mavi, I think the power play for GT's bowling will be crucial, Deep, right? Especially Shami and Mavi perhaps going to start. And then we can see Rashid Khan after the power play, perhaps. Aljari Joseph might bowl after the fifth over. So your thoughts, especially the power play first 6 overs, is very crucial for Gujarat to pick up, because I think that was where the strength was for Gujarat Titans last year, picking up wickets early in the power play against opposition teams.
Yeah. So we have a really good power play attack, bowling attack. So we have so on a given day on a slower surfaces we can have Hardik Pandya bowling two of the 6 overs in the power play and Shami bowling three and one from Yash Dayal or Mavi who will play, or the overseas bowler that we have. But and then in the middle overs also we have plenty of bowling options. The 4 overs from Rashid Khan is a certainty. Then we have like maybe 1 or 2 overs from Hardik, or the other spinner that we have, our Sai Kishore, can give you 3 to 4 overs. But then, like the main problem that I see this season that Gujarat Titans will face is that uh, they will miss Loki at the death, right? We don't have a proven death bowler. It's like Shami's economy is different when he bowls in the death. Then we had Yash Dayal last time bowling with Lockie Ferguson, but we don't uh, it's usually a very high pressure on a guy to perform very similarly that he performed last season. So it totally depends how Yashdal performs in the death over and who will be his partner. So I think death bowling is where I see Gujarat Titans struggling this year.
Yeah, very valid point over there. Talking about the threats, Deep, who do you think the teams could be a threat for Gujarat Titans this time? Seeing like the squads of other teams and all, who do you think could challenge Gujarat Titans this time around when it comes to title? Because they are the defending champions, they possibly have the squad to defend the title, but any teams that could perhaps challenge Gujarat Titans this time?
I think when we play our home games, then the first game against CSK would be like the toughest game because the CSK spin bowling attack and the kind of depth they have, and then MS Dhoni's ability to rotate their bowlers, it's kind of very uh, different. And then because this may be his last season, his team would be like thinking in this way that we have to give tribute to Mahi Bhai, so we have to perform really well. So when we have that kind of thinking, then we may see a different CSK altogether. So CSK is definitely one team that I'm worried about. And then apart from that, I think it'll be a 50-50 game or maybe 60-40 game, but I don't see like complete domination kind of a setup.
Very true. Yeah. Hari here says CSK will test GT this time. Dipanshu also says CSK is going to be a threat for GT this time. And also, Deep, coming back to you, I think Rashid Khan, because he's the player, I mean, he's all round, obviously, we know he's one of the best spinners in the world, all rounders, perhaps with how he was batting in the last 2020 World Cup. How do you see him coming as to play? Because certain matches, I think Rashid Khan captained GT last time, and they even won matches when Hardik wasn't fit. So your thoughts, especially Rashid Khan betting at 7 or 8. How do you see? I mean, especially Rashid Khan, the bowler, we know that he's good, but Rashid Khan, the batter, we hope he can obviously perform like last season.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Like Rashid likes to hit those helicopter sixes, and like he wants people to call him as an all rounder, not just as a pure bowler. And he likes to bat at 7 usually, if not at 8. So definitely, last season in like some of the crucial games, we have seen that his partnership with Rahul Tewatia won us a couple of games, and his cameos are very crucial. So he's like the MVP along with Hardik and our team. Like Hardik Pandya, the helicopter shot hitter, plus Hardik Pandya, the magician with the ball.
Yeah, very true. This time, do you see David Miller playing a huge role for Gujarat Titans? Because especially we saw last season him scoring, I think, around 400 runs last season. I think his average was around 60, or if I'm not mistaken. He played a massive season, I think, last season for David Miller, breakthrough season, especially him being bought at base price. And I think he was bought in the second round last time in the IPL 2022. So your thoughts of how David Miller will play into this team? Because obviously, as you said, also if David Miller doesn't click, the GT might not win the title this time. So your thoughts, because the impact that he made last season was very big, and especially when the top order like Gill, Hardik, when they failed, Miller stood up along with Rashid Khan, Tewatia. That middle order especially carried GT in certain matches.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest issue here. So if Miller doesn't click, then we can't drop Miller because we don't have anyone to replace or anyone who has like that kind of ability to finish the games. Then we will be forced to play Kane Williamson, Matthew Wade, David Miller, all three along with Rashid Khan. Then we won't be able to play that extra overseas bowler. And I think probably that's one of the reasons why we have spent so much on getting Shivam Mavi and let go of Lockie Ferguson, so that if that kind of situation arises, we can have Mohammad Shami, Shivam Mavi, Yash Dayal, all three Indian pacers along with Hardik Pandya, and then we can have the big three overseas right there at 3, 4, 5. Kane Williamson, Matthew Wade, and David Miller, so that we can have that depth in the batting.
Yeah, very true. Hari also here says Miller might be tested because new coming IPL bowlers will test him, and grounds and conditions might test him. Yeah, as we know, I think last day it was in Mumbai only, so I think it was a very different scenario. But this time around, because there is the home and away, things can change this time around, and I think players will be tested more. So I think that will be the reason. So last of all, Deep, can we know about perhaps your playing 11, the strongest playing 11 that GT could possibly field? It could differ in home and away, but still your strongest playing 11 for Gujarat this season, according to you?
Yeah. So my playing 11 is eight Indian players, three overseas players, and then in the impact sub I have kept three overseas players and one Indian player. So it's like this: Ridhiman Saha, the wicket keeper, number one, then Shuman Gill, then KS Bharat, Hardik Pandya, David Miller, Rahul Tewatia, Rashid Khan, R. Sai Kishore, Alzari Joseph, Mohammad Shami, Yash Dayal, and my four impact subs are Shivam Mavi, and then Kane Williamson, Matthew Wade, and then the overseas player that we get as a substitute of Alzari Joseph. Oh, sorry, George Fowler.
Yeah. So as we know the schedule, just showing over here, CSK will be the first match for Gujarat Titans this year. Then they have a away trip to Delhi Capitals on April 4th. They have a 4-day gap. Then they have KKR on April 9th. Punjab Kings again away at on April 13th. Rajasthan Royals again home at April 16th. Then they have Lucknow Super Giants again away. So two fixtures I think each. I think with Delhi they have two. With Rajasthan they have two. With Lucknow, I think KKR they have two. Lucknow they have two. Yeah, I think those four teams, I think I'm MI5. So five, those five only they play twice, and the rest of the other teams they play once. So seeing about the schedule, how do you say, especially KKR playing twice, Delhi twice, MI twice, Lucknow, I think it's a bit favorable for GT like this time, because especially I think these teams are not gone in the playoffs, but it can differ again, I think, because of the home and away conditions. It's not like them playing in Mumbai last season, so cannot judge based on that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the if I have to pick the top three, like most challenging fixtures out of these three, then the first one would be the home game against Chennai. Then another would be when we'll go away to play Rajasthan Royals in Savai Mansingh, and then the third one would be when we'll play against Sunrisers Hyderabad, because this time like they have an absolutely incredible squad, and especially when we'll play against the likes of Adil Rashid or Akil Hussain, then that will kind of test our batting abilities.
Very true. Hari here says he's playing 11 is Case Bharat, Gill, Matthew Wade, Kane Williamson, Hardik Pandya, Rahul Tewatia, Vijay Shankar in the team. Rashid Khan, Sai Kishnor, Alzari, Shami, Yash Dayal, Mavi. I think with the impact players also, I think he's including. Yeah, I think maybe they're playing 11 as well. Let's see how it comes. RCB and CSA going to be tough opponents according to Hari. I think KKR and DC this time might not be that great, because especially KKR, I think losing Shreyas Iyer will be a big blow for KKR, and Nitish Rana possibly going to captain or Sunil Narayan. I think there's a weakling, and then DC also not having Rishabh Pant this time also could be a big blow. So let's see how GT does this season. So
I
thank you
think
so much.
I slightly disagree. Like if Sunil Narayan is leading KKR, then KKR would be very different team and a tough opponent to beat. But if Nitish Rana is leading it, then it'll be like we have to see. It's just like it can go either way.
Very true. Yeah, so sub CSS, Odian, Sudarshan, and Vidiman Saha. Yes. All right, Deep. So we'll end it over there. So thank you so much, Deep, for taking your time. So we did the SWOT analysis of Gujarat Titans today. Hopefully, all the best for Gujarat Titans this season with their first match against CSK on March 31st. So tomorrow we'll be coming to Delhi Capitals in the evening. So thank you so much once again, Deep, for your time, because not easy to obviously get you, and obviously with India versus Australia also today, bit difficult. But thank you so much for your time today, Deep.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. All right, guys. So thank you so much to the comment section as well, to Hari and to Madhur and everyone. So thank you so much, guys. And even I think one other person also
Deepanshu.
messaged. Yeah, Dipanshu and Gaurav as well also. Here says hello Apu. Yeah. And yes, hello guys, says Madhur as well. So thank you so much, guys. So yeah, so we'll conclude over there. Please do subscribe the sports breakdown. Please like, comment, and share. And do check out Deep as well. He's very active on Twitter mainly, and on Instagram. He does his analysis mainly on Twitter. So do check out Deep Prakash on Twitter, and I think he'll be tweeting a lot on Gujarat Titans this year. So that's it, guys. So we'll meet you in the next video. So do check out the other 9 SWOT analysis that we are going to do in with the other teams. So till then, guys, see you guys and see you in the next video. Goodbye, guys, and good night.
How are they?